You're listening to Tabletop Arcanum, a podcast dedicated to learning and exploring the hobby of tabletop gaming. Your hosts are Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, so sit back and relax as we talk, discuss, and joke our way through the hobby we love so much.
Welcome to Tabletop Arcanum, where your hosts have endured 24 whole hours of Dungeons & Dragons, and they still have their wits about them. And by our hosts, I mean...
Justin.
And, of course, Ricky.
I'm not sure wits about us. I think we've finally recovered.
Yeah, I went home
enough of our wits to the point of I'm a functional human being again. But yeah, no, we just did D&D for charity, 24-hour session. And so let's talk about this. But before we get into that, we'll follow our standard protocol of jumping into our roll recap. This time, I will go first because, shocking, my list is shorter than yours. So, we recorded, talked about Nemesis, and then I got to play a game I've been wanting to play for like a month and a half at least. Mm-hmm. And it's about January. Early January. So it was about a month at the time when I played it. Now it's been about a month and a half. And that, my friends, is called Wingspan by Stonemaier Games. Medium weight Euro-ish game about creating a bird sanctuary.
Huh.
And collecting birds. Fun fact, the cards have bird facts on them.
Fun bird facts, you say?
Some are fun. Some are just weird bird facts. But
birds have feathers.
No, not that weird.
Sometimes they eat seeds.
Awesome.
These are 2 free facts, okay? Take them.
All right. So we got to play that. I really, really loved it. And only reason I got to play is because I know someone who shops at the local store who is one of the Stonemaier champions who get first access through the web store of the actual company to get the game a little sooner than retail. I've got mine pre-ordered on retail. It should be coming out in 3 weeks, I think, early March. Then we played a little Dungeon Mayhem, which is that Wizards of the Coast D&D, like, beat 'em up, really fast-paced card game. Got my wife to... Well, for Christmas, I got her Sherlock Holmes, the Consulting Detective. And we've sat down and played it. That is a lot of fun. And Sherlock cheats. By cheat, I mean he's way too good. So while it took us like 12 clues to figure out most of what was going on in the crime, it took him 6. Granted, we did discover this whole side crime that he had no idea that it existed, so it was kind of neat that way. But it's a really fun choose your own adventure, puzzler, doohickey sort of game. Got to play some Game of Thrones LCG. And worked with a buddy who got me a Greyjoy list that I was running, and now I'm going to tweak it to make it my flavor, but it itself is a very solid list, and I'm very happy with at least the main structure of it. It's just going to be flavoring to taste now for me, of how that deck works. Played some Gloomhaven, session 3 of that. I wish I can get more games of that in, mainly because there's so much to play, but it takes like 2 hours per session with 4 people. It's just not fast. Good, just not fast. And then last night at the LCG night, did session 3 of the Forgotten Age Arkham Horror scenario, Threads of Fate. This one's neat. So I know and we'll get into a roll recap here in a second where you get to talk about this a little bit, but you have your normal one agenda act, but that's what the game's trying to do, and that's the bad deck, that plot deck. And normally you have one act deck. This one has 3 simultaneously running. Yeah, have fun with that. I'm not going to tell you why or what's going on, but essentially there's 3 things you have to do all at once, and they run it in order to create that chaos of, like, how are you going to prioritize? What are you going to do first? What are you going to do next? Are you going to get through everything at once? They run 3 different decks that you can kind of pick at throughout the session. So that's my roll recap. Very light. personally. I'm pretty sure that has something to do with the 24-hour D&D taking up like an entire weekend of my life, and then hibernating for like at least the next 24-ish hours afterwards. So, what about you?
We're back at it again. Me and my girlfriend, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Played a lot of that. But I did re-sleeve all of the cards, and that's a literal game changer. Yeah, I'm looking at you, and you probably have something to say.
No, it reminded me what I did during the D&D session to keep my sanity.
No.
Or not keep my sanity. We'll get into that later, but that's why I almost choked on my cider there.
Yeah. And then I had a game night with my folks and my niece, because who doesn't like a board game? And for Christmas, I decided this year I was not getting the children and my family any kind of electronic-related device, so I got them a bunch of board games.
You gave them... I was going to say you weren't going to give them gifts, and you gave them the gift of your company.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I gave my niece a bunch of games that she really wanted to play, so we played through some of them.
Nice. What was on the list?
Well, we played through one of my games, which was Ticket to Ride. That was...
the standard American board?
Yeah, and that was my parents' favorite game of the night. My dad, a week later, is still talking about it and talking about how he wants to get another crack at it.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Even my mom just got really, really into it. So it was really nice to see, kind of like I told you with my girlfriend, she wasn't into board games at all, and we played Ticket to Ride, and it just opened the door. She's like, okay, maybe there are going to be some fun board games out there.
This is the magic of a gateway game, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets them a taste, it's not intimidating, it's easy to play, and then all of a sudden, hey, when are we playing that again is the next conversation topic.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love gateway games.
Yeah. We also played some Boss Monster. A little bit harder to explain to my folks. My niece and I have played it a few times, so she has the hang of it already.
Okay. But your parents had a little bit of tougher time with it.
Yeah, they got into it later on in the game.
Okay.
I think it helps that my niece... Well, it didn't help. My niece knew what she had to do, so she was gunning for it at the beginning of the game. She didn't care if they were trying to learn or not. And then we played Attack on Titan: The Last Stand.
Based off of the anime.
Based off the anime. I bought, that was the game I picked up for my niece for Christmas because she is a fan of the anime. And
now, is this the one that has, like, the cardboard Titan that you, like, jump up on, and there's, like, different platform levels of it? Okay, I've seen this game.
Yeah. It was an interesting concept. I don't know if we necessarily played it 100% right, because the instructions weren't very well put together.
Were they in English, at least?
They were in English, but they had, like, on one page, they showed everything, like, just a picture of everything that came in the box.
Okay.
And then on the next page gave you a list of everything that was in the box, but didn't really link them up so you knew what cards were what. Yeah. So it's like, you should have 7 of these cards. So I found a deck of 7. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. These are them. Halfway through the game, I realized, no, those aren't them. We're not supposed to be using those cards yet. Let's pull those out. Let's try redoing this.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if I played it again now, I would have, it would be easier to jump into, but the instructions really could have been written a little bit better. Yeah.
Fair. Anything else?
I finally took the dive. I'm in the Arkham Horror LCG club now.
Welcome to madness.
I picked up a core set, and then all the deluxe boxes that are out currently, just so that I have them and I can get to the cards inside of them. You're starting to tell me to pump the brakes because, in typical Ricky fashion, I just want to buy everything and I want it now.
True, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
But, and, you know, we'll be talking about this on our next episode. Mm-hmm. But, like, how do you approach something like this where the game's been out since 2016? Mm-hmm. There's you're talking. There's the core, there's the Dunwich cycle, the Carcosa cycle, the Forgotten Age cycle, and now the Circle cycle, as well as like little side things that have come out here and there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach something like that from I have nothing to where do I start?
Yeah.
So, I think that'll be a very good thing to talk about. Because you just went through it, and kind of how to prioritize some of these things, and where to do your research, and where to pump the brakes per se.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, welcome. And I would say I'm sorry for your wallet, but I've been on this train since 2016. Choo choo.
Yeah, at least you're picking them up as they come, and
yeah, but they don't stop.
Yeah, and
That's that whole living thing.
Yeah, but
living card game. It keeps going.
Now I have to decide what's more important, Star Wars Legion or Arkham Horror. Things are about to get real tough for my wallet real soon.
I want to say Legion's coming out with things hotter and faster.
Yeah, well,
because it's usually like 2 or 3 units a month.
Yeah, I know, it's getting crazy.
1 pack a month.
It's getting crazy, and I mean, if we're going to start talking about that, then let's actually jump into our news.
News?
Because even though it seems like it's been forever since things were announced, I realize that 24 hours worth of Dungeons and Dragons will do that to you. We've had many things announced in Star Wars Legion. Sabine Wren, Sabine Wren and Bosk were both announced.
Right, I remember Sabine. I don't remember Bosk.
Bosk is going to be the Imperial. Yeah, so I'm pretty jazzed about that.
We have 2 of the 5 original bounty hunters now, right?
Yeah,
because we got Fett already, and then Bosk will be next.
Mm-hmm.
Any future predictions on who's the next bounty hunter? Are we going IG-88, Zuckuss, or Forlom? See,
and I don't know. I'm wondering if they're gearing up for...
My money's going to be on IG-88 because he's a fan favorite.
IG-88's fantastic.
But, because like...
But then what if we want to have a
scum faction?
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. And that's my prediction, is since they're starting to get into more of the extended, the Clone Wars, everything that's going to go on with that. They're showing that they're getting into Rebels era. I think eventually they are going to start putting more teams in. And honestly, I'll probably give it a lot more life if you have different objectives for different teams. Right. Bring in like a scum faction who
needs to hunt a specific target on the field.
Yeah.
Because there's a bounty.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah, no, I could see that going really well.
Yeah. They did also announce that they are bringing out new terrain. The ATS, the downed ATST.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see out on the field. But then, the big thing that I saw that they announced that I'm fairly excited about, because hopefully this won't be me constantly spending my money, but I get my Star Wars fix out of a board game. Star Wars Outer Rim. Fantasy Flight announced this. They are taking pre-orders on it already. And have you actually taken a look at this just yet?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Besides, like, oh my god, it's another Star Wars game. It seems interesting because you're building up your crew, your ship.
To me, it kind of has a Firefly feel to it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I know it's supposed to be out in the second quarter of 2019. I'm probably going to say that's going to be day one purchase for me, and then I'm going to probably sit outside of your house until you allow me in to play it, Justin. Because
fair. Another new announcement besides Outer Rim, also from the Fantasy Flight genre, is the next cycle set for Keyforge. Age of Ascension. So it was Discovery first. Now we're Ascending. So new starters, new 2-player starter set, new sets of decks, new cards. Obviously, are going to be coming in. There are some cards that are in the first set that will be in this set, and then there are some cards that are being left behind. So it's not It's going to be interesting how they take it. One of the things that they are doing, remember those Maverick cards that can exist where it's like, it's from a different house, but now it jumps houses, or factions, if you will. They're doing like legacy jumps too. So a card that isn't printed, that was part of set 1, could potentially jump into set 2.
Interesting.
As like a super rare sort of idea. So different ideas. We'll see where it goes. My biggest thing is they just got to make sure there's product for people. That was the biggest problem with Keyforge to start with, is there was a lot and then there wasn't. Sushi Roll. Game Right Games has announced Sushi Roll coming up in 2019, which seems to be a lighter, fun, dice-based version of Sushi Go. So Sushi Go, you're drafting cards. Sushi Roll, now rolling dice. Get it? They're clever. It seems interesting. One that I kind of caught interest on is the new Time Stories expansion was announced, which is a Midsummer's Night, so it's hitting a interesting reboot, kind of. The idea is Time Stories is wrapping up with its last expansion, which should be out very soon. So the Time Stories Revolution, each one's going to be a standalone, and Midsummer Night is the first one. So, interesting. I kind of like Time Stories, but my problem with it is a lot like the escape room games, things like that. Once you've done it, you've done it. They're fun, interesting puzzles, and then they're kind of over with. And then Villainous has its new expansion coming out, which Wicked to the Core, adding 3 new villains to the mix. That's going to have the Evil Queen, Dr. Facilier. So, and then the third villain, I should say, is Hades from Hercules. So I'm kind of stoked about Hades personally, because Herc was I was a big fan of Herc. So, and it's funny because like the pawns are very colorful in there. Dr. Facilier is like the top hat that he wears. The Evil Queen is kind of her in a cloak and a cowl. And then the figure for Hades is like him in his robes with the like billowing blue smoke all over the place. So that's some new stuff. Castles of Burgundy has a fancy edition coming out, from what I can tell. Yeah, so why don't we just dive right into our main topic here and talk about our 24 hours descent into madness when we play D&D for charity all night.
All night long. Well, so first we should talk about why we did it. Yeah. So, if any of you are unfamiliar with the organization Extra Life, it is a foundation that you could sign up for, where you play through marathons, raising play board games or video games for extended periods of time to raise money. And all that money is used to support local Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So depending on where you are, depending on where you are, it will sign you up to an affiliated hospital, and you'll be playing for them. You've seen a lot. I mean, chances are you've seen a lot of video streams will do something similar to this to raise awareness. They'll play video games or online games for... Yeah,
I've seen a lot of Twitch streamers.
They are in partnership with Twitch, like you said, Rooster Teeth, Humble Bundle, and Wizards of the Coast. So they do have quite a bit of actual... they have a lot of legitimacy to them. Not to say there's reason to think they're... but so we came together. It was us and... 10 others. Which initially... Total of 12. 15 people initially signed up and paid the entry fee to play, but then couldn't make it in the end.
Yeah, we had a couple of people who couldn't make it. This is not to discount that that was 12 players, or 15 players originally. 2 dungeon masters, and then the store owner also kind of was around helping facilitate, and then late in the night, jumped in for a little while as we had some people who had to dip out.
We all got together around 4. We did get a little bit of a late start, only due to issues with printers and all that fun stuff. But
the usuals.
Yeah. 24 hours. We initially signed up just because we thought it would be fun. We did not realize what really went into 24 hours of playing Dungeons and Dragons. It was quite the experience.
Yes.
They did have it set up so that we could take a little bit of a break every few hours just to make sure we got up, walked around, got food.
So, yeah, the general scenario that the creative team there put together was kind of 5 sections, like a 5-part quest sort of situation. An estimated about 4 hours per each section, with like about an hour between to break, use the restroom,
grab food,
get food, eat something, stretch, move around. Also, they did the milestone leveling, which I've done in campaigns before, where like once you hit a certain point in the story arc, you'll get a level opposed to using the standard experience point system. So the breaks were also to level the characters to the next point in their career, so that the next challenging piece, as it got tougher throughout the session, we continued. So we did post some pictures midstream, as we did on our Facebook and Instagram, just kind of capturing some of the minis and some of the things, because the team there did a really good job painting all the minis for the session.
And they did a real good job putting everything together. It was very, very well put together, and we definitely felt it as the intensity grew, as we got higher level.
I don't know if it was as high that we were higher level the intensity grew, or we got more exhausted, which made it seem more intense.
Yeah, it was a definite mix of the two, on top of us just trying to figure out what to do as our brains are just
mush,
empty. Yeah.
All right, so for the sake of getting everything together and going, we essentially were all put together on a boat for various reasons, whatever reason we wanted to think of in our background. It didn't matter. It's a one-shot sort of situation, so the background didn't matter as much. But we're going to this island to save the world. But to save the world and stop whatever is going to happen, we have to get to the wizard's tower in the center of the island, which is protected by magical barriers. These barriers are in 4 different sections of the island that we each have to search to discover the key to unlock it, and then move on to the next section. Surprise, 4 sections plus tower, that equals 5. There's our 5 sections that we went through. And if it does sound very tropish, they wanted it that way. Because they knew 24 hours, they just kind of wanted to ham it up a little bit as far as the classic tropes go. So, Area 1, we're 4th level, and we go into the jungles. And the very first encounter, very first thing that we have to figure out how to beat as a group is a T-Rex.
Tons of fun.
It didn't survive very long, but it was still a lot of fun. Trucking through the jungle, getting hunted by a dinosaur, and then having to fight it. Found essentially lizardmen hiding out in ruins, had to dispatch them, and eventually figured out that if we had to topple their lizardman totem statue to release the key. So that was a fun, challenging thing. A little bit more of a wave after wave of lizardmen sort of situation kind of happened there. And then it was a test of strength to topple the statue. So that was section 1, or hours 1 through 4, if you will. How do you feel?
I thought it was pretty good. I did like, with all of us being thrown in together, 12 of us, you have like your normal players, the players who are always very skeptical of traps being everywhere.
Yep.
Your characters that just want to run into danger head first, not care. Your characters that are hanging back and trying to see what's going to happen before they do something. So it was a wide range of players in this. So that was nice to get us all thrown into the action right away.
Right.
It was just we were walking and it popped up on us. It got a lot of us used to each other real quick before we were able to really get into the thick of the night.
Yeah. So we take our break. I actually leave the store because this was like 8, 9 o'clock at night. My wife hadn't eaten yet, and I know her. So I'm like, okay, if she's not eating yet, she's not going to unless I somehow magically make food appear for her. So I bring her some food, and I grab my Sentinels collection. The store got their big restock that I asked for out of sleeves, because I've been slowly sleeving this game.
Yeah, and I would also like to discuss the fact that I've been going in every week asking if they've gotten more sleeves in, and being told that, no, it's really hard to keep them in, just to find out you've been buying every single one that they have gotten in stock over the past.
In fairness, I let them sit for about 3 days before I went and cleared them out.
Likely story.
No, it's true.
Probably true.
You just didn't go to those 3 days that they got in versus when I picked them up. Because I wanted to give other people a fair shot at them if people were looking for them. Because I knew I needed a insane amount. Anyway, he got literally a box of these in.
A box of boxes of them.
And I didn't know that they were there until after we had started. So I took the break to go get my collection because I didn't know how many boxes I officially needed anymore. So with the blessing of the store owner, I started cracking and sleeving while we were playing just to keep my hands busy.
1,300 cards. And I watched you. It's very impressive.
It was a machine. I had a system. But yeah. No, it was more than 1,300 cards. I should figure out the real total on that. Because I sleeved over 1,700 cards.
Oh, wow.
With the number of boxes that I used, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cards. Anyway,
yeah.
So that's what I was kind of doing in the meantime. And yes, 100%, I have sleeved every single Sentinels card in a mid-tier sleeve, because otherwise it would have been ridiculously expensive. It was already expensive enough, but I wanted to protect this investment, but I didn't want to buy Dragon Shields, so I went with the Arcane Tin Med board game sleeves in that finish. A little bit better than penny sleeves, but they're still relatively on the lower cost scale.
Yeah.
So get that, and I set hour 6 through 10. I'm starting to work on these sleeves, and then we go to a chasm.
So hours 5 through
6 through 10.
6 through 10. Sorry.
Because we had an hour break, so it's like 6 through 10. We're in this chasm, go to this cavern or canyon and crevice that is formed, and the best part about this was the fact that I played a Kenku, and one character decided to climb down the canyon instead of taking the path that everybody else found not too long after. And
even after halfway through.
And then proceeded to fail his climb checks and fell like 150 feet in this 300-foot cavern before he caught himself and wrecked himself. So my Kenku was able to accurately represent the sound of a dwarf falling down a cavern
for the remainder of the night.
For the remainder of the 24 hours.
Oh, that was so great.
We got a little slap happy because anytime like the mood needed to be broken, I just started making that noise.
Yeah.
And then everybody at the table laughed, and then tensions kind of died down. Because after spending 24 hours with people, tensions are high. Now you've been playing D&D with them for 24 hours, tensions are even higher. Because everybody's exhausted, everybody's cranky, and they just want to get it over with. So we get to the bottom, and out of nowhere, earth elementals pop up and start hurting badly.
They just start wrecking us.
Yeah. we fight back. We eventually beat them down. We find a cave. We find a intricately like puzzle lock trap pillar sort of thing, which is the keys, because we were actually told that like dexterity and deftness will be your next thing. So lock picking. I'm the only freaking rogue in the entire group of 12.
I had a disgusting amount of...
Other people had good checks, but I was the only actual rogue that was like solid at it. Everybody else was...
I had a dexterity of 18.
Right.
With lockpick skills and...
Right. You're the only other one, though.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like barely able to do it.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of locks. Lots
Yeah.
of locks. Also, I decided to play an assassin, not a standard thief, so while I was good, I wasn't, like, focused on it.
Mm.
Either way, wave after wave of earth elementals as the melee and healers try to figure this out and try to hold them off. There's, like, you, me, and one other that were, like, doing these lockpick checks as fast as we humanly can, and I guarantee you my first ones were great. And then there was 4 turns in a row. I got nothing higher than a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it got rough really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Did pass successfully. Yay. We got through it. We took our like, what was it, 2? Like 2 in the morning? I don't know. I can't even track what time it was anymore. It was early morning. Like middle of the night style.
Yeah.
Take our next break. Level our characters again. And so we move into the next section, which is actually, we're to level 6 now. I'm multi-class, so I was 3 levels of rogue and a level of fighter to start with, and then I kept taking fighter levels.
Mm-hmm.
So this time I got my fighter archetype. So not only I'm an assassin archer, but now I'm an arcane archer. Now I can put some extra mojo in the arrows. So I started having fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
You were just a straight up like ranger.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of fun playing with that and seeing how these classes kind of grew in like 4-hour chunks. Because the thing I don't like about fast leveling in games is then you don't get to experience what they did. But we all had like 4 hours at a level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was fun. All right, new toys, next level. Phase 3, we went to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like literal actual hell on earth.
We started at this point getting restless and the party split. We couldn't. We sat there and we couldn't deal with what half the group wanted to do and said we don't want to do that.
Okay, to be fair, we're on a path, and a mile away is this giant demon. Half the group went, we're on a path, let's keep going. He doesn't seem to notice us, let's just keep going. And then, well, half the group is Holy Avenger Paladin styles. So they're like, nah, screw that, that's a demon. Like, we're in hell. And they're gone.
Yeah. So and that was the nice thing about having 2 DMs is the fact that they're like, okay, you guys want to do that? 2 separate. And usually splitting up the group is not a fun thing.
Because half the players sit around and do nothing and watch the other group, and then the flip-flop, and your time's like split. But
when you have 2 DMs and you have 5 people on one table and then 7 people on the other table, it worked. It worked very nicely. It was a lot of fun.
And played into the final part of hell very well, because I was part of the group that continued on and encountered one of the demonesses.
We were both on that team, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, you were there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah.
See, this is where my brain is like melted.
Yeah. As we started getting later and later into the evening, yeah, exactly. Our brains started getting melted. We started getting extremely slap happy. I ended up downloading a ham horn onto my phone.
Oh God, yes.
And anytime anyone would roll a nat 20, I would ham horn it up. And then we got the store owner
to ham horn over the store's audio system.
He loved it, so he downloaded his own ham horn, and yeah, over the store sound system. Anytime anyone would get 20, he would hit it, and it was just so great.
It was... People had a lot of fun with it. It was getting a little obnoxious by, like, hour 20.
No, I still loved it.
I know you did, but other people were getting tired of it.
Meh.
But that's fine. Like,
they're wrong.
So yeah, we split off, fight one of these demonesses who almost wrecks us.
Yeah, she
to
was
a point,
insane.
Like, oh, look, took down the paladin. Oh, took down the cleric. The only cleric that's with you guys. The other group didn't even have one. And then it's like 3 squishy characters, because I'm like, I'm a rogue fighter, not supposed to be in melee combat. You're a ranger, not supposed to be in melee combat. And who was the last one?
We had... What's her name?
That was the paladin.
We had Andy.
The warlock. Yeah, that's when the Stormrunner jumped in.
Yeah.
So he jumped in and was playing a warlock. So again, very fragile hit points.
So it just turned into a lot of, hey, look at me over here, I'm shooting you, and then as she would start coming after one of
because
us,
she hit someone.
yeah, well, she'd come after us, and then the other ones would run up to the paladin and the cleric and throw.
To be fair, that was me. And
yeah,
that's only because I was 3 levels in rogue and have the special ability that I could take the disengage to avoid the attacks of opportunity as a bonus action, opposed to taking a full round. So I was able to be much more proactive, running around not getting hit, while finding potions to dump into the down companions' bodies. Just dust them off a little bit, like, all right, you got another round in you. She's coming back.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
So it got,
that was rough.
It got pretty intense pretty quick.
But we won.
We won.
It was fun.
And then we sat down with the main group again.
And then they defeated the big demon. They had this big, giant, like, dragon, griffin fight thing. I never even got the full story.
They had...
Mainly because I was so tired already, my focus was gone.
Yeah, they went and they went up to the giant demon, saw it swatting at something. It turns out it was a paladin riding a griffin who's been in hell for thousands of years or something like that. But just went crazy and didn't know that they were non-demons and attacked them. And then they fought off the paladin and they killed the paladin. So they rejoin us and we sit down and 5 of the demons that we had just fought, the 5 of the demonesses that we just fought, pop up on board.
They're the final conflict for the hell section, because everything kind of had like a boss fight sort of setup. So they're the final section in here. The 5 of us who already dealt with one of these things were just nope.
Yeah.
Don't want to deal with it. The rest of the group's like, yeah, let's go. And they're like, no,
and then I think one person got hit once and just got straight up murdered.
Right.
And then went, oh.
The rest of us went, we warned you.
Yeah.
It was actually really great. It was a good moment of how the split actually came together in the end. So we deal with the demuses barely, in the sense of it was an arcane puzzle, so it was like a lot of arcane knowledge checks and insights. So you had to be learned or wizened to do so. Luckily, this is the same level I decided I would become a arcane archer, which got me knowledge arcane as a proficiency. And it was damn well timed. Well, where, the wizard's down, the sorcerer's down, everybody else is pretty much dying on the battlefield because these demonesses are just wrecking everybody that they look at. So here I am with some really good sneak checks, sneak up to the tower, and probably the last round before they found me and would turn on me, I get that one last check that was needed. Because we sent, it was like the barbarian that went, and then one of the smitey paladins, not very smarty paladins, that were just not making good checks because they had like -1 bonuses. Yeah, it was bad. I actually go over there and pulled their butts out of hell, and So, final break. Things are getting exhausting. We had breakfast because it was now like 8 in the morning.
Well, we call this the final break because we were supposed to have another break between this next portion and the last portion. But then we started to realize that if we tried to take an hour break, we weren't going to finish.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact. We had 24 hours real time to finish this scenario. So if we actually ran out of time, we lost and didn't save the world. So like there was a really nice like real world mechanic of let's keep going. And most people at that point were like, yeah, let's just keep going, let's get through this and be done with it.
Yeah, I think at that point it was one of those, if I sit down for a moment and I'm not actively engaged, I'm just going to fall asleep.
Yeah, we had people falling asleep at the table. It was exhausting. So now we go to Aquatic World, or Kevin Costner's home world. I'm not sure which.
Waterworld. Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. The DMs, in the sake of time and energy, kind of cut a little bit out of it, I know. Because we get to the final boss pretty quickly, which was a bunch of sorcerer elves who were summoning, you guessed it, a Kraken.
Yep.
We came, they released it, and then the Kraken proceeded to pick everything up within its reach and then use it as ammunition to throw at us. Including the elves. Especially the elves. Our wizard turned to a shark, and he was thrown back at us. The centaur paladin that we had in our group, because, whatever, it was crazy, was picked up and thrown at us. Our minotaur was picked up and thrown at us.
We kind of played volleyball with the shark.
The shark wizard?
Shark wizard, yeah.
Yeah.
We just kept throwing them back and forth. That was a fun scenario. Because it just, out of nowhere, Kraken.
Let's go.
Just lay into it. Try doing as much as you can. You can't really get too close because it'll pick you up and throw you, but we were pretty slap happy at that point. I think, was there any check that we had to do in that, or is it just beat the hell out of the...
No, it was just beating the Kraken.
Yeah.
Which was tough enough.
And honestly, at that point,
that's all
we just wanted to tank and spank. We just wanted to get in there and just keep smacking it around until it was done.
Great thing. We do that. We have a mini break, and then we go into the Wizard's Tower. That's where we get literally the toughest fight of the entire session. Another adventuring party of only 5 members, but because of some bad choices, some interesting scenarios, our wizard tried and then failed to charm one of them, which caused them to attack us with not one, but 2 Cone of Colds, wiping out 75% of the group. Just on their knees, just like dump down. Rough. Rough time. And of course they have a rogue. They have a bard. They have a wizard. They have a monk. They have a barbarian. They didn't have no primary hero, which is probably what saved us. But we took out the casters first because we're not green to this anymore. Target the wizard, target the bard, target the rogue. Then you take out your monk and your barbarian.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take a while to beat down. But if you can stop the DPS, you're doing good. Get to the top of the tower. Captain Monologue, the wizard, wakes up from his eternal slumber. And, of course, monologues. That we released him from his prison, yada, yada, yada. And then we proceed to beat him, too. Well, he had a lot of fun because he had all his crazy wizardy powers. So, prismatic walls, like indestructible globes of just nose. Everything was part of that. So, it was rough. Not gonna lie. Someone polymorphed into a T-Rex and then ate him. I wish I was kidding. But that's literally what happened when we hit like hour 23. Is we decided to eat the wizard. Well, he turned into a dragon after that. And then proceeded to finally kill someone permanently. And then it was just another slugfest of people being blinded permanently from the prismatic wall.
Mm-hmm.
Fumbling around, trying to do best they can, fighting this dragon that wouldn't land.
It was...
We stopped it.
Yeah. It was a ton of fun. I mean, at that point, we were pretty slap happy. That was the first character death of the night, too. So, I mean, to go 23 hours without a character dying.
Permanent death.
Yeah.
A lot of people fell down to 0 and we were able to recover, but this was like dead, cannot recover, good game.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Long, but fun. And when it was over, it was more of like less celebratory, but more of a relief.
Yeah.
Is how I felt it. And I think everybody else did, but I know everybody had fun at the same time.
Yeah. I'm willing to enjoy it now and celebrate it now. But at the time, I was ready to...
It's over. It's finally over.
Yeah. I went home and I just fell asleep, and I stayed asleep.
Yeah, I slept about 12 hours that night.
Yeah, 14 hours on my end.
Monday was rough. The day after. But I was kind of functioning. I just felt like I was sleep deprived the entire day. Which I was, even though I slept 12 hours, because I hadn't slept 24 hours prior to that. Now, the next day, the Tuesday after, I was back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Felt normal again. So, it was fun. I'm glad we did it. It was for charity.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it again?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I know you're thinking, like...
I'm not sure if I would.
Yeah. Give it another, 2 months, and you'll forget all of the sleep-deprived portion of it.
That will be probably what it'll exactly be. Is right now it's too fresh of a wound as far as what I put myself through.
I already know that in 2 months I'll say yes, so I'm already going to say yes because I might as well not lie about it. I would definitely do it again. I mean,
But you wouldn't do it this weekend.
No, I wouldn't do it this weekend. No. But if you think about it, that was probably at least 4 or 5 different sessions worth of D&D in one night. If you play with your friends, I mean that could take half a year to play, depending on
your group and how often you get together.
Yeah, depending on how often you get together. To be able to do that all in one night was a lot of fun. It kind of felt like
the story progressed. We did things. We accomplished stuff. We moved on to the next thing. Accomplished a new task. Mm-hmm. It felt like we were getting someplace, and it felt like we were making really good progress because, we were.
Yeah.
But we, like you said, you crammed about. If it was a once a month game, we crammed about 5 months into one long night.
Yeah.
Of progress, and I think it was great. It was a lot of fun. This is the first time they did something like this. There's definitely room for improvement. This was a lot more scenario and challenge based, so I'm really excited to see what they plan next time. Because there is going to be a next time, and I think I already heard some of the hints of what they're trying to pull off. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what it looks like, and probably we'll do it all over again.
Yeah.
As far as it was kind of the store's call that they didn't want to do any sort of recording or streaming of the event. Mm-hmm. And that's primarily because of the liability of people being sleep deprived or acting.
They wanted us to have fun.
They want people to have fun and not be so conscious about being recorded, mm-hmm. and being PC or watching themselves or whatever the case may be. So, they may be doing more streaming and things of their shorter regular sessions. Mm-hmm. I know they're talking about doing that more, but maybe keeping the event stuff private because you paid to be there. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get your private show. Mm-hmm. So that does it for our 24-hour slug of D&D. Would not do it again right now, but once we've kind of forget about the pain part of it, we'll probably do it again. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I already know I will.
So
I am anticipating it.
Next time, we'll be talking how to get into a game that has been around with a pile of expansions or has been around and seen different iterations, and how to get to something that's already established without necessarily making that misstep, knowing that knowing that you can come in it with a knowledge base.
Mm.
Any final thoughts?
My brain's still broken.
Any closing statements?
My brain's still broken. Well, yeah, from us, from all of us over here at Tabletop, the two of us, our brain's still broken.
You've been listening to Tabletop Arcanum, hosted by Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, and featuring the original music by Paul Moore and Isaac Gilbert. You can follow us on most social media platforms. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. As always, thanks for listening.